Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am your girl CeCe Andres and I am so excited to be back. Hit your notification bell so that you are aware every single time I post a video. And come on, join the family and let's jump right into it. So 2020 into 2021, right? What a hell of a year was 2020. Let's just be honest and let's just put it on the floor. 2020 was something that was dreadful for everyone. No, not all bad things came out of 2020. There were some good things that came out of 2020. But for the most part, it just left most of us just feeling unsatisfied, unhappy, and, very confused and very, very lost. And because of that, a lot of people slipped into depression. A lot of suicides were committed. And, on top of the deaths from the pandemic, it just felt like we could not win. Speaking of that, my deepest sympathy goes out to anyone and everyone who has either been affected with the virus or lost a loved one or know someone that has either passed or been infected with it as well. And my prayers that everyone will be healed and everyone will be safe. Okay? Now, my 2020 into 2021, for me, I was able to start a business in 2020. I was able to mend relationships in 2020, but 2020 just allowed us the opportunity to just be able to sit back and reflect on a lot of different things and try to make corrections in our life. And it just really, really proved that, tomorrow isn't promised. Not one bit at all. So the best thing that we can do is really just fight for today. So throughout that year, I just learned we have to take so much more pride in the decisions that we make and just moving and grooving through this thing called life the way that we want to. Because if you're going to have to look down and think about your last days, are we really, really spending them the way that we will want to spend them? So take a moment to just think about that. If something was to happen to you right now at this very moment, would you be satisfied where your life was? Would you be satisfied for people that you no longer talk to? Broken relationships? Would you be happy with the ones that you have mended? Where would your mindset be if you knew at this particular moment that this was it, right? So we want to live every single day like that. Every single day should be lived like this is our last, because there is a possibility that it really, really is. So for me in 2020, I went through a lot, and my family and loved ones went through a lot. And you talk about 2020 vision was the motto that everyone was going in with. That definitely was my motto, but it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to be. 2020 opened my eyes to so many different things, to so many different opportunities, to so many people, the realness, the, uncertainty, just so much. And as I stand here or sit here, 2021, I am so thankful that everything unraveled the way that it was, because there definitely is not any mistakes, even when we feel that there are. So let's start with the beginning of 2020. With my husband's permission, I wanted to mention that I lost my mother-in-law in January of 2020. So what a way to start off a year that so many people was looking forward to, as we are every year. But something was very, very special about 2020 in a way that we all talked about it, that we weren't even really, really sure of why we talked about it that way. But everybody was just so excited to see 2020. And when 2020 started off the way that it did, I really didn't have a role to where I thought it could go after that. The year was crazy. We had the pandemic pick up in March, April. Cities and states started to close down. Everyone had to be quarantined. So this is something that we were all a part of. For once in a lifetime, there was something that every single person in the United States, in the world, other countries, all felt together. And that was, we were all suffering through this virus together. We were all having to be quarantined. We were all having to take precautions. Everyone had curfews, to their own standards. And it was something that you would see out of a movie, in my perspective. And I'm just like, wow, this is what we have come to, like, really? So that took place, right? Then on top of the pandemic, you just have to think about everyday life situations. So some people lost their jobs. Some people started to work from home. Children had to be homeschooled. Parents who are not teachers never took a college course. Education changes every year, because even with myself, I have a younger sister, and some of the things that she showed me she's on in school, I'm like, now hold on now, girl. I ain't been out of school that long. I don't know this though, and that's just the reality, because things are supposed to advance as time goes on. Not that we can't learn it, but it just put these parents in such a tough situation, because it's like they're having to go to school with the babies, right? So that occurred, and you have your job situation, you have your living situation, people that are unable to pay rent and live and feed their children. You have holidays coming up and you can't provide the way that you're used to. It put a hard mental impact on just society as a whole. And half the people really don't even know it. Stressors went up, anxiety rose. As I stated, suicide rates went up. It's just something that was just uncontrollable. And what could we say to each other that we're experiencing these issues? Because we don't know when it's going to get better. And they're trying to get things organized a little bit at a time. But we really don't know. So we get to the end of 2020, and my grandmother was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Okay. That took a toll on my family in such a different way. And experiencing the loss that we have already from cancers, and to have my grandmother be diagnosed with stage 3 cancer at the moment that it was noticed, and it was only God's grace that it was noticed when it was, it messed me up. So I am my grandmother's oldest grandchild. And being here all of my 30 plus years, I couldn't see this day coming. Not that we ever could, but when it hits you and you're limited with opportunities and you're limited to how we can fix it, it's just a different type of, it's a different type of feeling. This is my mother's mother, and it's crazy. My mother suffered from COVID, and when she suffered from COVID, she was in the hospital. She was on a ventilator. I didn't know what was going to happen. When they say your whole life flashed before your eyes and you have to start making plans for things that you don't want to start making plans for, this was my reality. My grandmother's was towards the end. My mother was back mid breakout of the actual COVID virus. So I know that people have lost loved ones. And I know that I am extremely blessed to still have my mom when she suffered the virus. And I don't take it for granted. I don't. So I can imagine how those people feel when they didn't know what was going to happen. And my heart can only imagine how they feel when it didn't go as they had probably planned. So we are now here in 2021, right? Because of the things that took place in 2020, it gave me the mindset that, you know, I could have lost a lot of things in 2020 by choice, meaning letting go of things, walking away from people and situations, because it was just a year of anything and everybody can go. You know, that was the reality of 2020 for me. Anything and everybody can go. Like I just didn't want to deal with anything, and I have a pretty peaceful life. I try to stay in control of a lot of things that I can, but the reality is I cannot control everything. So at the moment where I lose control, and not knowing what's going to happen next, my anxiety level goes up. So I've suffered from anxiety since my brother passed. It'll be 9 years this year, and that was a reality call for me then. And I've looked at life a completely different way since that point. And then when COVID took place and people were dropping like flies, I was really just like, no ma'am, no sir. We're not going to do that. We are not going to go any further in situations, in places, whether it's your job, your friendships, your relationships, family relationships, the decisions that you make, how you spend your time, whatever the fact may be. We are not moving like we used to move when we thought we had all the time, people. We are not doing that. We are really going to have to buckle down and get things in place in order for the things we want in life. And that's what I really, really did. I really got down and buckled down for the things that I wanted. That was just really the reality. That is really what I had to do. So because of that, I made some decisions in 2021. I don't do New Year's resolutions any longer. That was back in the day for me. I now just move forward knowing that if God knows everything that my heart desires, there is absolutely no reason why I should have to worry. Because if I do my part, He'll do His, and things will work out. Plain simple and to the point. But I decide to add something different into my life every year. And I hadn't been on social media for quite some time. It's been well over a month and a half now since I was last on social media. And I usually take a break every year. Just whenever my spirit says take a break, I take a break and I just be me and I let it go. But I had decided to take a break and just clear my mind, because at the end of the day, we can only account for right now at this very moment. And although I start businesses, although I work a full-time job, although I am a wife, although I try to keep my hands in things and I try to be helpful with others and come on board to help other people with special products and nonprofits and things like that, are we really doing as much as we can, right? So 2 years ago, I had decided I wanted to think about my finances in a different way. So that's what I added on to my life at that point. Although I had pretty much been intentional, I really wasn't. And 2 years ago, I had decided I wanted to buckle down. I wanted to learn about millionaires and billionaires, ways of getting money, keeping money, and being more intentional with it, okay? Not a millionaire yet, but, you know, I've learned some things. Knowledge is power for sure. And then 2020, I had decided that I wanted to make changes with products that I use. So everything that I put on the outer part or exterior part of my body is 100% natural. So, and it's so crazy that it happened with my grandmother being diagnosed with cancer at the end of the year, because I was talking to my best friend and telling her when I was going through the transition of switching to natural deodorants and things, my grandmother wasn't diagnosed at that time. It was just something that I had been wanting to do, because you hear cancer so much like it's a cough, like it's just something that you caught, you know, like it's just something that you went on a shelf and grabbed. And it's like, where is it coming from? Why is it so large in a community? Why is it just so much every time you turn around? Like, and I started saying I really want to do things that I can do to help myself in the long run. It's not a guarantee, but every little thing counts. I ain't going to be out here funky, I'll tell you that much, though. We weren't going to go that route. But I am so big on hygiene, and I am so big on smelling good that it took me forever to do it. I probably have watched about 50-60 YouTube videos of people who had transitioned into natural products and natural deodorants coming from the everyday, you know, normal, well-known brands. But I have made the decision, and the route that I went, I didn't have any problems. I detoxed my body as recommended. I still do it now, and detoxing the skin itself. And I haven't had any issues whatsoever. If you want to know more about that whole situation, leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to help you guys on your journey, because we are all trying to get healthy together at this point. I mean, help a sister out. And that's what I want to do. I want to help you guys out. So if you really want to know what I did, leave a comment down below, like the video so that I'll know, and then I can definitely go ahead and put up a video explaining what I did and how I transitioned and what that looked like for me. So with that, the last 2 years that I did those things, in 2021 I had decided that self-care was going to be my priority. And I'm not talking about getting your hair done. I am not talking about getting your nails done. I am talking about self-care, mental self-care. Think about that for a moment. I'll wait. Mental self-care. Just being able to relax your mind, whether it is meditating, praying more, reading more. I have bought a few self-help or positive thinking, inspiring, motivational books over the past month or so that I have put myself in. I'm indulging in, reading more, and making sure that I fill my brain with as much positivity and education and knowledge as I can, just in more than what I am used to, and more than being in my bubble. You think about how old you are when the last time you picked up a book. Yeah, I know. But that was the same for me. That was the exact same for me. I wanted to do things different. So I'm reading more. I've always been a prayer. I'm praying more, making sure that that is a priority day and night. I am making sure that I continue to get those things like your hair and nails and whatever matters to you. Continue to give yourself those things, massages, personal time, self-time, where you say, hey, everybody and everything around me, stop. I'm going to have a moment to myself. And when I am together, I will come back to you all, but I have to take care of myself. I just want you to start doing things like that as well. That's so important. So for me, that's what I'm doing this year. That's what I'm adding on. And I am just really just praying for us all. We are all like in the same boat. Can y'all believe that? The people that you never thought you were going to be on a level with, you are on the level with them, whether you realize it or not. It is not like you're doing the same thing or you're making the same mistakes, but it's like this pandemic put us all in the same position at the same time. We all had to sit down at the same time. It's crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. And it's even crazier that it's not over yet. Sad to say, but it's even crazier that it's not over yet. So 2021, I just want it to be awesome for all of you. I want everybody to be able to have everything that their hearts desire. And I want you guys to come on this, this journey with me. And I know some of y'all watching. And you didn't subscribe. That's what you need to change in 2021. That is really what you need to change. You need to just stop watching and start subscribing. What you doing? That ain't even right. You starting 2021 off all the way wrong. You did that in 2020. In 2021, we not doing that. We are not watching videos of people that we like and not subscribe. And I know you like me because we already family. We already established that. So even if I was a cousin that you don't like, you still a part of the family. You got to go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Share this video. I mean, what you doing? What you doing with yourself? Share this video with your family, friends, coworkers, sister, brother, cousins. Y'all know I don't care. And on that note, guys, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. But in the meantime, I want you to stay safe, be blessed, and love today like there is no tomorrow, because it is certainly not guaranteed. And until the next video, I will talk to you all later. Bye.